The sun is beginning to dip in the sky. I'd better go check on Amy and see if she's made any progress. After entering the library, I spot Amelia at a secluded table surrounded by a mountain of books. She doesn't hear me approach. Hey, Amy.
Hello.
She doesn't look up from her textbook. Did you make any progress? Finally, she looks up at me.
Yes, I did.
She gestures to the books around her.
All of these texts include data on the 100 floating isles.
Oh.
I have spent the afternoon gathering and analyzing all of that information.
I don't know what those are. Wait, did you say floating isles? Amy blinks.
Yes.
As in, they're hovering in the air?
Yes.
Gotta be a Master Emerald somewhere. You don't seem surprised by this.
Of course not. The islands float due to the magical dispersion in this area. This is a natural phenomenon which has been around since the time of the ancients.
Interesting. Do people live on these islands?
No, it is not logical nor conducive for habitation. Most of the islands are far too small for colonization, and those which are large enough to hold a small population are not suited for civilization.
Gotcha.
But because they have been mostly untouched, the Isles are still one of the most beautiful natural wonders of Isaria.
That does make sense. Okay, but if no one lives on the Isles, then why are you studying them?
It is highly likely that the Wind Temple was built upon one of those isles. Based on my hypothesis, the temple would be built on the site of the highest concentration of energy.
Oh? Amy nods and begins to explain her scribed notes. The rest of the group slowly trickles in. Zack and Leanna arrive first, and a short while later, Kara follows.
If my calculations are correct, the temple should be located in this region.
Ah, I hit my mouse. She opens one of the books to a map and points to a cluster of islands. That's great, but we still have a problem. The islands are floating. How are we supposed to get up there?
Wind magic would solve that predicament.
If only we knew someone who practiced wind magic! Everyone focuses on Leanna.
That's true. While I can use wind magic to jump from isle to isle, it's impossible for me to manipulate enough energy to be able to float everyone.
Really? Because we can float rocks. So, I mean, and you floated me during our spar.
I could float myself and perhaps assist one other
I mean, can't you just do one at a time?
Obviously, that second person would be him.
Zack gestures to me. I mean, that's true, because I'm the only one who needs to be there, yeah. Makes sense. I'm the only person who can absorb the energy.
What about the rest of us?
Don't worry, Kara. I'll bring you back some souvenirs from the temple. Kara laughs.
I appreciate that, but we should still be close by. The least we can do is keep watch.
We can set up at the edge of the first isle and wait for their return.
Kara nods.
That sounds good to me.
There's still some distance for us to travel to reach the Isles. We can cross that distance as a group and split up from there.
Yes, but tomorrow. It's already growing dark, so we should rest tonight.
Agreed.
Let's go find an inn then.
Once in agreement, we help Amy clean up and then return to the streets. Now that the sun has set, the cold seeps through my clothes and chills my skin. A shiver crawls down my spine. Leanna blows on her hands.
The change in temperature is really apparent without the sun.
Amy glances at Leanna.
If you are cold, perhaps we should inquire whether the Flushed Mermaid has any rooms. Their rooms are more luxurious than the inns we may be used to, but there is a fireplace in each room. I do believe they provide heat stones we may request to slip in our beds, should the blankets be insufficient.
So knowledgeable.
Plus, their hot springs are open for guest usage.
Oh my gosh, we got a Hot Springs episode, everybody! Kara perks up.
Did you just say hot springs?
Yes, that is,
You had me at hot springs. Let's go there.
She begins to push Amy in a random direction.
This is the incorrect way. The inn is towards the west.
Oops. To the west.
Kara hurries Amy towards the west as the rest of us follow along. Our group checks into the Flushed Mermaid. The first thing we do is make reservations for the hot springs. Fortunately, their availabilities for the men's and women's hot springs are at the same time. How convenient! Fortunately more, the wall between them is transparent! After we complete our reservations, we receive our keys to the rooms and go upstairs to get ready. Amy was right when she said the Flushed Mermaid had nice rooms. These are a lot more elegant and grand than any of the others we've stayed in. Yeah, looking at it, yeah, for sure. Zack and I enter the room, and my eyes are drawn to the pale wooden dressers gilded with clamshells and pearls. 2 couches sit before a flickering ivory fireplace. The mantel is streaked with silver waves with a mermaid carved at the center. How much did this cost us? Dang, why don't we always stay in rooms like this?
They're expensive.
Yeah, they have to be. Zack heads to his room as I find robes and towels in my closet. Once I'm ready, I meet up with Zack and we go downstairs and make our way to the men's side of the hot springs. I step down into the pool, shivering at the first touch of heat. Zack settles across from me, enveloped in a vapor cloud. I sink even lower for the water to cover my chest. Why is this image not like the full screen? They're like little black bars. Has that been a thing before and I just didn't notice? I only notice now because oftentimes I keep my mouse near the bottom of the screen, just so it's out of my way because it bothers me a little bit. But this time, like, you know, I can clearly see the black bars. The Pongo plops next to me with a small splash. After a moment, he drifts back up to the surface like a fishing bobber. The Pongo drifts in place, his mouth still covered underwater. A second later, he lets out a happy, bubbly noise. I smile and pat him on his head. This is nice, isn't it? The Pongo beams up at me. He leaps out of the pool and then makes a game of jumping in and out of the water. So... Zack doesn't even open his eyes. His arms are spread along the edge of the pool. How's life?
Fine.
Oh, look at those scars. Silence. Catch any scary bad guys recently? No response. I frown, sinking a little lower into the water. I notice a huge scar that ripples across Zack's chest. Cool scar. Where'd you get it? Zack finally opens his eyes. He stares me down. Okay, maybe I struck a nerve. Never mind. Zack turns away. Man, this obviously isn't going anywhere. I might as well just enjoy the hot springs and stop trying to get him to talk. I close my eyes and try to brush off our awkward conversation. Everything is so quiet. Too quiet. I don't even hear the Pongo splashing around. I open my eyes and realize he's not there. Hey, where's the Pongo? Zack looks around. The Pongo is nowhere in sight. The Pongo is constantly running off. Aren't you curious about where he goes?
No.
If he's not hanging around with me, he's usually with Amy. For science. Zack arches an eyebrow.
And?
We should investigate for science. No. We'll stick around. Yeah, true. Never mind. Zack and I stay in the hot springs until our time is up. We gather our towels and go back to the inn. In the back of my mind, I wonder if the Pongo really did go to the girls' side. I can't help but feel like I'm missing out on something. You parv! That's why I picked the top option. As I like to call it, the toption. After our time is up in the hot springs, we change back into our clothes and meet at the Flushed Mermaid's Inn to have a late-night snack. We gather around a mother-of-pearl table, flecked with bits of coral. The chairs here are more comfortable than the wooden ones I've gotten used to. The servants bring us each a scoop of ice cream. Or the servers. Did I say servants?
Wow, this is delicious!
What kind do you have?
Chocolate.
Kara's expression turns wicked.
Looks good. Mind if I try?
Leanna smiles.
Not at all.
She goes to slide over her bowl, but instead, Kara moves in on the spoon of ice cream that Leanna is holding and eats directly from it.
Kara!
Yep, you're right. It's delicious.
Kara giggles and winks. Zack stares at the scene. Kara seems to seems to feel his stare because she turns to face him.
What's wrong? Want me to lick yours, too?
Zack chokes on his ice cream as his face becomes completely red.
Oh, wait, never mind. We both got the same flavor.
She grins deviously.
I'm glad we have the same tastes.
Zack mumbles something incoherent. After we're done with our snack, we all decide to turn in for the night. We make our way towards the staircase to our bedrooms. On our way upstairs, Zack spots a fancy vase. Oh no! Oh no!
Hey, Leanna. What's that?
Oh no! Leanna looks.
What? You mean that?
She suddenly pauses. Pink creeps into her cheeks.
Sorry, I didn't catch what you just said. What is that?
She frowns.
It's Two Faces.
I let out a low groan. Not this again. Kara and Amelia blink in confusion.
Leanna, is it not clear that the object to which Zack is referring is a vase?
I know what I saw.
Zack smirks triumphantly as Leanna crosses her arms and pouts. Kara looks from Zack to Leanna and then shakes her head.
I'm not even going to ask.
They've just been flirting behind your back. That's for the best. We hike up the stairs and separate into our rooms.
Oi.
Wait, whose room is this? This is a crap room. What happened to my, like... Wait, did we only go there for the hot springs? And then this is a normal inn? I glance down. Huh? You want to stay with us, Pongo? The Pongo perks up.
Oi, boy.
I open the door a little wider and he bounces into the room. No, this has to be the same place because they just got ice cream. That never happened before. They had a mother-of-pearl table and everything. That's what it was called, right? The wind howls outside and I automatically step closer to the fireplace. Yeah, this is totally... Give us the other image. That's weird. Didn't Amy say something about slipping hot stones into our beds if we're cold? But Zack has already rolled away from me. By his heavy breathing, I can tell he's already asleep. I feel pretty relaxed too. I suppose that's the thing about hot springs. Why is there a comma there? It helps you relax and get a good night's sleep. I crawl into my bed where the sheets are smooth and welcoming. The Pongo snuggles up next to me under the blankets. My eyelids feel heavy and in only a few moments, I find myself drifting off into a deep sleep. Happy, peaceful, sleepy time music. Sunlight blasts through the windows and wakes me up bright and early. I groan as I sit up in bed, rubbing the sleep from my eyes. I squint at the bed next to me. Zack is nowhere in sight. I guess he's an even earlier riser. After I'm dressed, the Pongo leaps onto my shoulder. Good morning. He lets out a little yawn.
Boy, boy.
It's pretty early, huh? The Pongo nods and snuggles against my neck, closing his eyes.
Boy.
We have a long day of traveling ahead of us. I wonder if everyone is already downstairs. I guess we'll see. I open the door and step into the hall. As predicted, I find everyone already waiting for me downstairs.
Ready to go?
Yeah, I have everything.
Great. Then let's get going.
Off to the islands we go! We set off towards the floating isles. With the bright sun in the sky, I barely feel the chill in the air. It seems like Leanna and the rest of the team are feeling much warmer too. Maybe this is from the magic of the hot springs warming us from the inside. Either way, I'm not complaining. The walk to the air temple takes a few hours. Lately, I've been getting used to all of the traveling, but why is everything so far away from each other?
We made it.
Huh? We did?
Yep. Look.
I glance to where Leanna's pointing and my mouth drops open. There are 100 floating islands sprawled out across the sky. Hearing Amelia tell me about them was one thing, but actually seeing them in person...
I've never seen anything like it.
I'm kind of surprised Kara hasn't been down this way before.
Me neither.
Even Zack looks impressed. All the isles are of different shapes and sizes, just big enough for maybe a few people to stand on. Oh, wow. The wind tosses the glistening grass from side to side. I can make out clusters of different flowers peppering some of the islands, pale purples and fluffy magentas.
Just as I expected. The temple should be here.
Where exactly? Amelia points above the isles and up into the clouds.
You and Liana will find the air temple at the highest floating isle.
It's a good thing I'm not scared of heights.
We'll set up here while you guys go do your thing.
I know I've ignored this in the past, but again, I just have to say that setup, it should be 2 words. Setup is 1 word is the noun. You know, like, hey, you have a good computer setup. That's 1 word. Hey, I need to set up my computer. 2 words. Throwing that out.
Good luck.
Again, it's just a thing, I try not to point out every grammatical thing. But sometimes I just feel the urge. Leanna and I nod.
Off we go then.
Yes, to the sky! Leanna and I travel up the slope in silence. After a while, I glance back and feel unease when the rest of our party members are no longer in sight. As we continue to travel upwards, I feel my ears pop. Just how high up are we? We finally reach the pinnacle point of the mountain. The aisles are closer and look even more impressive. The closest aisles look deceivingly close, but I know that if I tried to jump it without the boost of magic, I'd never make it. A breeze ruffles my hair as I step closer to the edge. I look down, and down, and down. My chest tightens. That is a very long drop.
Don't worry, we're not going in that direction.
That's good. Leanna gives me a reassuring smile. I feel slightly better, but my stomach is still in knots. I glance up at the first aisle. How are we going to do this? Leanna sprints past me and effortlessly jumps high in the air. She lands gracefully onto the platform. No matter how many times I've watched Leanna use magic to augment physical skills, it never ceases to amaze me at just how awesome it is.
Your turn. Take a running start and jump. I'll boost you over.
As I look at the massive gap between the edge and the first aisle, my knees become shaky and weak. What if I really do fall? I trust Leanna. I've believed in Leanna so far. No reason to doubt her now. I close my eyes and recompose myself. This is going to be quite literally a leap of faith. I step a few paces back and get ready to sprint. Ready?
Yep.
Here goes nothing. I dash towards the edge and jump with all my strength. I feel a powerful gust of wind lift me high in the air. Whoa! In one smooth motion, I make it onto the platform with the breeze softening my landing. My heart is racing.
You okay?
That was awesome! Leanna looks surprised, then giggles.
You ready for the next one?
Yeah, let's do it! We walk across the aisle and position ourselves to jump onto the next one.
Alright, you're going to try this next jump with your own magic channeling.
I'm not sure if I'm comfortable with that, actually. My blood runs cold. My magic? Leanna nods.
I know you can do it. You just have to use the wind like a springboard and you'll fly right over. Find the spot that you're going to take off from and conjure a powerful gust of wind from there as you jump.
Right. Leanna speaks encouragingly, trying to calm my nerves.
Don't worry. If it doesn't work, I'll help.
I look at the next aisle.
Just remember what we've practiced. You'll be fine.
I nod and prepare a running start. Use the wind as a springboard. Right. I can do that. I suck in a deep breath. To infinity, a Buzz Lightyear reference, and yonder! I dash ahead, forcing myself to push past my nerves and focus my mind on my manipulator. My stomach drops as my feet leave the ground, but I try to push through the fear and focus on casting. A surge of energy shoots down my arm. My gauntlet glows and the air swirls up around me, pushing me forward. I let out a startled cry as I fly through the air. I land hard on the next aisle and feel the wind escape me, but at least I made it over on my own.
That was excellent.
Leanna floats onto the same aisle and lands gracefully on her feet, a wide smile on her face.
You were able to augment your abilities on the first try. I'm so proud of you.
Aw, she's proud of us. Her smile is contagious and I grin back. Thanks.
You ready to keep going?
I nod, now brimming with confidence. Let's go. As one, Leanna and I leap and land on the next island. And the next, and the next. The first few times I jump, I float shakily in the air, but the more I cast, the easier it becomes. We hop from aisle to aisle, keeping pace and making good time. Leanna catches my grin and laughs, springing ahead of me. I smirk. Two can play at that game. I push forward with another surge of magical energy and race ahead of her. I feel like I shouldn't be that, cocky.
It's like that, is it?
She wears a determined look, and a roar of wind soars her overhead. You're on! I leap after her. Oh, shoot! Okay! Remember to repeat the icon pattern. Okay, up, down. Good. Right. Right. Down. Up. Up. Left. Down. Win! We leap from platform to platform. The whole time, I managed to keep pace with Leanna. Her sunny hair whips about with each jump. Her laughter streams across the clouds, bright and delighted. We race forward, but I can't quite seem to pass her. We finally soar and slide to a stop on the final platform, our shoes flinging up grass and dirt. I laugh, the sound breathless and spiky. My lungs burn as I take in gulps of air. Yeah, it would be really cold up there. Now that we finally stopped, I realize how much energy I've used. My muscles ripple with exhaustion. I feel like I could collapse and take a nap right here. Do you mind if we take a quick break? She nods.
That's a good idea. You aren't used to such a heavy energy usage in a short amount of time.
That's very true, yes. It's comfortable and peaceful as Leanna and I sit down.
It's beautiful here.
I follow her gaze. It really is. The clouds look as soft as spun sugar. They glide across the blue sky. Dappled sunlight glints off of Leanna's white armor. Her hair dances across her face as we watch the sun begin to dip low behind the clouds.
It's so nice here. It makes me happy.
Happy? She nods.
I don't feel so weighed down here. It's like I'm free.
Oh, well, that's good. I blink at her, curious. Free from what?
Everything. It's just, I don't know. The looming responsibility of the world weighs me down sometimes.
The world's messed up. A small chuckle puffs out of me. The looming responsibility of the world? Leanna blushes.
I suppose it's not the whole world. It's just, there's sometimes so much expectation. From the Mage Guild, from guards and places we visit because of the sigil.
Yeah. Sigil. I don't know if that's the way to pronounce it, but I can't say that it's not. I say sigil. She hesitates for a second.
And from my family. It all gets so overwhelming.
She's always so calm, collected, and upbeat. I guess it's hard to remember she's human too when she keeps up such a strong facade. She doesn't talk about her family much, and from the way she hesitated when mentioning them just now, I gather their relationship may be strained. Expectations from your family? She pauses and hugs her knees close to her chest.
Well, in this world, a lot of women my age are already married and have children. It's something my family has always wanted for me. Those things, they aren't bad, but it's not something I want to think about right now. I want to
That's
explore
perfectly
and see
reasonable.
everything. I want to be free.
I nod, understanding. It must have been tough to constantly have those expectations on your shoulders. Leanna smiles, but it doesn't reach her eyes. She shrugs.
Yeah, I love my family, but we definitely have different views on things.
I nod. Yeah, of course. There's a pause.
Ever since I joined the Mage Guild, I feel like I can finally breathe. I can look to the horizon and know that I can just go there.
There's another pause.
But all this doesn't matter. I know I'll have to leave the guild one day and fulfill the expectations others have for me. Why even bother doing any of this if it's also fleeting?
Nah, you live your life to your own expectations, you know? Don't live for other people. Sometimes it's better not to think about what's to come. It's better to just enjoy the moment for how it is. Leanna blinks.
Enjoy the moment.
I grin and nod. Yeah, just appreciate things for how they are right now. Leanna looks a little confused, but interested. The experience you have, the memories you make, those are not fleeting. They stay with you forever. They make you who you are as a person. If you get so wrapped up on how you're supposed to live, you forget to actually live.
I never really thought about it like that.
I nod reassuringly. Like today, you're free and able to travel, right? We've been hopping around in the air and it's been fun. And I don't know about you, but when I'm soaring through the clouds, I can't think of anything except how amazing that moment feels. That's how you should live every day. Leanna tilts her head, intrigued.
That's an interesting way to view things. But what about the responsibilities you still have?
Nah, I don't care about responsibilities or obligations. It's a balance. Yeah, I do. I have to get good grades at school or else I won't graduate. And I have to respect and honor my parents, but I also have to respect my own dreams for life. I try to take each day one step at a time. It's good to respect your obligations, but try to push forward with what you want for your life. Or with what you want for your life. How about that? Leanna looks like she is processing what I said.
Oh, I see.
Besides, no one knows what life will throw your way. If someone told me a month ago that I'd be in another world talking to a mage knight on a floating isle high in the sky, I'd think they were crazy. That doesn't even sound remotely plausible. She chuckles. Yet, here we are. There's just stuff you can't plan for. And those unexpected things that life throws your way, sometimes they end up being better than anything you could have planned for. Her signature smile finally returns. A flock of birds suddenly shoot up into the sky. The movement tosses back our hair, and we watch them fly by in silence.
So, do you have anyone to go back to?
What, like a girlfriend? Leanna's cheeks redden. She nods. I've never had one. Backstory truth. Women totally love me. Like all the time. All of them. Backstory lie. I've been with my fair share of women. Backstory truth. Nothing serious. Backstory truth. Oh. I was about to be like, you know what? I'm playing as Riz. I'll actually be Riz. But then I realized that that's sad. I've technically had one girlfriend in high school. It lasted like 3 months or something. And that's been it. And I'm 24 years old. I've never had a girlfriend. Leanna's eyes widen a little.
Really?
She blushes. I can't tell if she admires that. I can't tell if she admires that I've never been with anyone, or if she's just shocked. I smile. Yeah, I've just never wanted to date just for the sake of date. Yes, exactly! Exactly. I'm glad I get it. Call me crazy, but I think when you meet that special someone, you'll just know. Leanna smiles as her blush deepens. What about you? Leanna looks away as she blushes.
I've never been with anyone.
Seriously? I find it hard to believe that someone like you hasn't been in a relationship.
Someone like me?
Charming, smart, hardworking, patient, beautiful. Need I go on? Leanna's blush deepens.
You're seriously exaggerating. But thanks.
She clears her throat and scrambles to her feet before I can ask any more questions. Look, you spaced any more this time. Well done.
You ready to go?
I nod, my heart still pounding. I stand to clear my thoughts. Yeah, let's roll. So look, we got to set up a little bit of backstory. That's fun. And I'm glad that it indicated whether they were a truth or a lie. We bounce across even more platforms. It takes a lot more work to sort to them, or it takes a lot more work to sort to them than before, partially because they're further and further apart, and partially because I'm already weary from all the air hopping we did earlier. The sky is painted pink and purple by the time we reach the highest floating isle. We step onto the island and look around. The flowers shimmy in the breeze, and in the far corner is the familiar sight of a temple ruin. Yay, temple ruins!
This must be it.
I hear a low groaning sound. What was that?
This must be the entrance.
I follow her gaze to a large, open archway. It's too dark for me to tell what's inside. A freezing, moaning wind spirals out of it and rustles the grass and flowers outside. I shiver, but try to shake off the cold. I'll go ahead. I walk towards the entrance, and the wind howls. It roars and tumbles out of the door, pushing me away. I grunt and try to fight my way through, but I'm unsuccessful.
It looks like there's a strong gust of wind here to keep people from entering. Let's try springing ourselves forward.
Okay. I nod. Both Leanna and I take our place. With a running start, we use wind to augment our speed and try to push through. Even though Leanna makes it ahead of me, the wind is too strong and we're both eventually pushed out. Dang.
Here, take my hand.
Huh?
I'll slingshot you in.
Okay. Oh.
If this is where the elemental will be, maybe absorbing the energy will lower this barrier, and I can follow after.
I nod and take her hand.
1, 2, 3!
Is it gonna work? We both dash forward, channeling our energy, and push as deep as we can. At the point of overpowerment, Leanna rotates and throws me, slingshotting me forward. We did it! I fly through the gust and tumble into the temple. Looking back, I can't see her past the darkness. At least that worked. Cue outro, go!